big breakthrough in Russia-Ukraine peace talks. I want to get to that story because Russia and Ukraine both have agreed to a limited ceasefire. The United States has confirmed that an agreement has been reached to ensure safe navigation in the Black Sea region as it wrapped up 3 days of talks with Ukrainian and Russian delegations in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And that's a major step forward. The two warring sides in talks brokered by the United States have agreed to halt military actions in the Black Sea area and a strike on energy infrastructure for the next 30 days. US President Donald Trump has reiterated he will get this war stopped, claiming talks between Russia and Ukraine are progressing well. But Russia has tabled several conditions for this 30-day sea and energy ceasefire, including the United States lifting sanctions on financial organizations and the agriculture sector and easing credit limit for Russian banks and ending shipping bans on Russian vessels. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sounded a word of caution on this ceasefire deal, claiming Russia will likely violate the points that have been agreed to.
Well, they're going to get together. Look, they agreed to something and it got broken. There's tremendous animosity. There's a lot of hatred, as you can probably tell. And it allows for people to get together, mediate it, arbitrate it, and see if we can get it stopped. And I think it will. That'll get stopped. So we've made a lot of progress on two fronts, on both sections that we call them. We call them sections, but they're much more than that. Russia, Ukraine, and also the Middle East, and we'll see what happens. We're in deep discussions with Russia and Ukraine, and I would say it's going well, but it's a situation we should have never had to even think about, should have never happened. And on the Middle East, that's been going on for a lot of years, centuries and centuries. It just keeps going. And we are making a lot of progress, so that's all I can report. But some very, very big talks are going and detailed talks are going on right now on both fronts.
Те, як Росія буде себе вести найближчими днями, покаже багато чого. Якщо не все. Якщо знову повітряні тривоги, якщо знову військова активність в Чорному морі, якщо знову російські маніпуляції та погрози, то треба буде вживати нових заходів.
But let's get you the inside story of this peace agreement and forward movement and systems of checks and balances. My colleague Shashank Mattu from India Today Global joins me with more. Shashank, Russia also wants certain curbs eased, and is US on the same page? Will Europe be on the same page when it comes to easing those restrictions for Russians shipping oil and movement of Russian funds especially?
Right. So the Americans have made extremely clear that they are willing to work with the Russians in terms of restoring their access to world markets, whether that's for fertilizer, whether that's for agriculture. They're very, very clear. And Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has also talked about this very, very clearly in the past, that there are economic opportunities between the United States and Russia that his administration would like to explore. So at this point in time, America is very clear that it wants to incentivize Russia and bring it to the table and say that we can offer economic incentives, a reduction in sanctions, a restriction or removal of restrictions on your commercial entities if you come to the table and agree to end this war quickly. So the Americans and the Russians at this point in time setting some of the tone for the talks. Now, the Ukrainians are saying that these agreements, these terms that Russia has now come up with about the removal of sanctions were actually not agreed to, that these are coming in post the agreements being made. So they're accusing the Russians of bad faith negotiations. But at this point in time, so you can see that given European support for Zelensky, that is also likely to feature into how they're seeing these talks. But at this point in time, Russia and America very much setting the tone right now for how these talks are going to unfold.
Very interesting times ahead, and God willing, it will ensure no more losses of lives on ground, because that is extremely important to ensure lives are not lost anymore. Shashank, for joining me here on India Today, many thanks.